I'm Jennifer Purcell, and welcome to my podcast, Living with an Invisible Learning Challenge, where we will discuss, discover, and learn more about the challenges and triumphs of those with NLD and other learning challenges. I do have a website for this podcast, and it is called livingwithnld.com. I also have a Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter account for the podcast. They are all under the same name, which is Living with NLD. I also have a YouTube channel for the podcast, which can be found by Googling the title of the podcast, which is Living with an Invisible Learning Challenge. I would like to tell you about a nonprofit that I use for my research for this podcast. It is called the NLD Project, and I use their blog for my research. They are a nonprofit that is based in New York and is trying to get NVLD back on the DSM, and they provide many resources for people with NVLD on their website. I'll provide you with the website for them in the podcast description. All proceeds from the ads on this podcast will be donated towards the NVLD project. Please feel free to explore the other topics on the podcast, and hopefully you will learn something new from them. I hope you enjoy today's episodes. Hi, so the next Facebook chat for the podcast family members who have NLD and other learning challenges will be on December 18th, which is the third Saturday of that month, and it will be at 10 a.m. Pacific time zone, and it usually goes until 11:30 a.m. Pacific time zone. And that group is meant to be a safe space for people to talk about challenges that they may be going through because of the learning challenge that they have or other issues. And it doesn't have to be related to their learning challenge, but it can be. And there's confidentiality built into that group, so we do not share what is in that group outside of that group without asking people in that group first before doing so, for permission, I mean. And we do that because we want to respect those people's wishes about sharing their private information, of course. And that group again is on December 18th from 10 a.m. Pacific time zone to 11:30 a.m. Pacific time zone. And I hope to see you there. If you would like to come, please email me at livingwithnld@gmail.com, or you can also message me on Facebook or Instagram on my page, Living with NLD. Thank you. I am fundraising again for the NVLD project. They are an organization who helps people with NLD and their loved ones by providing more resources for people with NLD, getting NLD back on the DSM by doing more research on it, and providing support groups for people with NLD. And they also work on doing more research on NLD so that there is more information out there for people to read and understand about NLD. And the fundraiser that I'm doing for them has a goal of $1,500. Now I have raised $425 out of the $1,500 goal for the NVLD project. And it is on Facebook. I will provide the link for you in the podcast description so that you can go there and read more and contribute if you feel called to. And thank you to everybody who has contributed so far. I appreciate your contribution, and I look forward to seeing the results. To access the testimonials, there are two ways. There's a testimonial page with the full quotes, and then there is a slideshow on the home page with excerpts of the longer ones and the short ones. On the last image of the testimonial quote with Julia's quote, you can click on it and it will take you to the testimonial page where it shows you all of them with the full quoted
testimonials. I did it that way because I wanted it to be easier to read on the homepage, since some of them were a little longer than a testimonial usually is. And then I wanted to make sure that you could see the whole testimonial on the testimonial page. So I hope that makes sense. If it doesn't, you can email me at livingwithnld@gmail.com and I will try to show you how to access it. Thank you. Hope you're having a good weekend. Bye.
Hello, today's topic is NLD and having your own pace and feeling your body in space. Do you ever have challenges with visual-spatial and dropping things that you're carrying, or running into things while carrying something, or going slowly because you have your own pace and it's not the same as everyone else's? I know I have all of those issues sometimes. For me, I have challenges with driving because of feeling my body in the car and trying to have it be an extension of me. The difficulty of this makes it hard when I want to park, turn, make a U-turn, a quick reaction or choice in the car. It makes every part of driving hard. If you are more aware of your surroundings and not texting when driving or listening to music, it's easier to respond. I always put my phone on Do Not Disturb and have it in the back seat, not next to me where I can reach it, so it's not tempting. I also don't turn on the radio for music so I can respond faster to my surroundings. Please go to episodes 49 and 11 to listen more about driving with NLD. And as I talked recently in my episode about trying new things, I have been increasing my reflexes with jacks and jump rope so I can respond faster with driving. Also, I can catch things before they fall or before I drop them. Also, in my episode about processing speed, if you have faster reflexes, I think that will change your processing speed too, because then you're training your brain to respond to things sooner and process actions sooner. It'll take longer and different times for everyone depending on the severity of NLD or learning challenge you have, but you can do it if you stick with it. I also have had some issues with carrying things, clumsiness, dropping, and walking. But I've worked on those things with sports like skiing, running, hiking, surfing, fishing, and walking my dog, or hobbies like knitting and cooking. Please listen to episodes about sports, which is number 9, cooking, which is the third one and season 2, slow reflexes / hand-eye coordination is number 18 in year 2 to learn more about these areas. From the NVLD project, one of the symptoms of NVLD is, quote, poor ability to interpret nonverbal social cues, such as body in space, and difficulty judging body placement in relation to others, often stand too close to someone, end quote. I know sometimes it's hard for me to judge how close I'm standing to someone, especially during the pandemic with the 6 feet suggestion. That makes it hard because of having to visualize that distance, and on top of that, wearing a mask makes your face uncomfortable. This article is titled Help the School and Help Your Children with NLD by Marcia Eckerd, who has a Ph.D., who, quote, diagnoses and help autistic and neurodiverse people, as well as those with anxiety and social challenges, end quote. This article talks about the challenges a child with NLD has and how to help them. Quote, often children with NLD have slow processing speed. They're exhausted from the day at school, or they don't get what to do without prompting. Poor coordination and spatial organization, as well as poor social skills, make team sports and PE frustrating. Adjust the amount and pace of homework to make it achievable, end quote. I do have my own pace and always have and always will. I remember one of the people I interviewed for this podcast, Chloe, talking about this too when I interviewed her. People with NLD move at their own beat and pace. This does make them slower than neurotypicals, but that's okay. You can change your pace and reflexes if you want to and work at it. I've worked at getting faster with teens by running, repeating, taking notes, and not giving up. I've talked about not giving up on this podcast in episode 39. When you repeat tasks, that makes it easier because then you get more used to doing them. One of the reasons I've worked at my pace is because I wanted to get faster at work and not be so slow at doing routine tasks for my parents. I also worked at it because I wanted to make my life easier like I do with any other challenge related to NLD. Additionally, I wanted to be able to walk at a similar pace to others when I was out with them on walks or hikes. With running, I ran at my own pace and improved it at my comfortable level or zone. I listened to my body because that's important. I also worked at getting faster with skiing by improving and being more confident in my abilities. I did this by watching my parents, brother, and friends ski because they're better than me. This helped me improve and be the speed demon skier I am today. I can go down most of the runs on my own today or with my brother's or friends' help. I am still improving and trying to get better in all of these areas because I finally believe in myself, not only that someone else believes that I can do it. This is a powerful thing when you believe in yourself because then you can do anything you set your mind to as long as you don't give up and you keep at it. As I wrap up, I would like you to answer this question in the comments. What challenges do you have with having your pace or feeling your body in space? Please feel free to answer even if you don't have NLD or a learning challenge. You can also email me at livingwithnld@gmail.com with the answer, or go to livingwithnld.com and comment on this episode with an answer, or on YouTube as well. Hope you learned something new today. Talk to you next Friday. As I wrap up, there are some things I would like to share with you, my audience. Please know that just because I have a podcast doesn't mean that I'm perfect in every way and don't make mistakes. I make them every day and try to learn from them. I hope that this podcast helps you feel included, not alone, inspired, safe, and encouraged to make your life a little easier for you every day or chance you have the opportunity to. I would like to hear from you, especially if you have topics that you would like to know more about relating to NLD. I know I'm not an expert, but I do know I have the living experience of having it. Also, please email me if you would want to be interviewed on this podcast, or if you need support with something related to NLD. I'm always happy to help in any way I can. I hope you enjoyed today's episode, and I will talk to you next Friday. Bye.